Are you considering to start tax preparation business and not sure which tax software to choose? You're in the right place. I will do a quick overview and comparison of all tax softwares available on the market right now, and I'm gonna help you out to make the decision. Let's dive in. Because on my channel you can find tutorials for pretty much all the tax softwares available on the market, I often receive questions like, oh, which tax software you choose? What if you compare one to another? Which one would you recommend? So in this video, I'm gonna go ahead and answer these common questions and I will compare tax software using those 5 criteria. So first criteria will be your tax experience and goals. So I will look into user tax preparation experience and goals, and I think that's very, very important because just depends on your personal tax experience, right? And your goals, you probably will choose a different tax softwares. The way I want to explain it to you is basically, do you want to be a tax preparer and that's all you do? You want to be in tax preparation career, you're gonna learn all of that kind of stuff, all the details. So that will be group number 1, tax preparers. Second group would be people who are already doing something else very similar to or kind of related to tax preparation. For example, bookkeeping, financial advisors, something else, and they want to add it as additional service or part-time job. So you'll specialize in something else, but this will be additional service you offer. So I would compare softwares using those 2 groups. One is tax preparer, like 100%, and one will be part-time and as additional service. So we'll differentiate those for user experience and goals. Goals will be different too. So the first group will have a goal is just prepare as many tax returns as they can. Second group will have a goal to offer it as additional service. So the second criteria will be if it's user-friendly, so that I'll determine how much time you'll spend on learning the tax software. So you can decide for yourself if you okay spending more time figuring out tax software, or you okay to pay a little bit more and just have an easier to use tax software. The third one will be very complex tax return. And why I'm saying very, because some people think complex tax return is just like a partnership with 10 partners, which is not complex. That's basic partnership tax return with just many partners. But complex for me is something like consolidated tax return or partnership tax returns that files in every single state. So that's very complex tax return. So we'll think about that. And then the fourth criteria will be integration with different softwares, for example, QuickBooks or other things. So we'll talk more about that. And the last criteria, but also extremely important, is tax planning, because now if you're in the field of a tax preparation, you will do tax planning at some point. And it's very important for growth. So I would consider that as extremely important. You would probably ask me like, oh, why didn't she include the price as one of the criteria? I assume that price is very basic and you probably looked up how much the tax preparation costs before watching this video. And you haven't, I have another video right here that goes over more details, including price, so you can look it up. I'll add the link right here on the top. All right, so let's dive into the question number 1. So the first, we'll start comparing 2 softwares, Drake and ProConnect, based on the question I received from one of the subscribers. So the subscriber's name is Thomas. Hey Thomas, I hope you don't mind I'm using your name and your questions, but I hope that will help out other people to make similar decision to you. So Thomas is extremely intelligent person. He has like 3 designations next to his names that I don't even know what they mean, but they seem like he's very, very smart. So he's overachiever, he's extremely smart, and yeah, and Thomas considering choosing between ProConnect and a Drake tax software. So let me read your question to you and we'll try to analyze it. Let's go. So Thomas is saying that he will have a good amount of business tax return because of his wealth management clients, and he's trying to figure out software and training at this time. He's getting his EA, which is enrolled agent, and have a good understanding of taxes from his work experience, but the preparation part is a learning curve, right? So he understands taxes, he's studying for EA, like I said, extremely smart, and good luck to you on exams. It's not easy to pass EA exams. And now he's gonna start preparing tax returns, so he doesn't have that experience, right? So let's analyze it by using the 5 criteria that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So first one will be his tax preparation experience and goals. So he understands taxes, but tax preparation experience he doesn't have any, right? So it's new to him. Second of all, what is his goals? His goals seems on his many designation, it will be have a tax preparation as additional service, right? So because he's learning tax preparation, so it means he hasn't done it for all his life like I did, and he wants it as additional based on those 2 factors. I think a good idea for him would be to use a tax software that is easier to learn for it, because he doesn't have tax preparation experience, and also because his goal is not to be 100% tax prep. I don't think you want to spend too much time to learn it, right? Okay, so that's kind of assumption on this. The second criteria was user-friendly. So yeah, user-friendly, extremely important to him, because I don't think you want to spend too much time learning that, because that's part of what he does, not full-time. So based on those 2 criteria, comparing Drake and ProConnect, so I think it's like I mentioned, Drake is wonderful, ProConnect is wonderful, they're all amazing tax software. But if I was Thomas, that actually will learn tax preparation, and it's not going to be my full-time only job, I would go with a tax software that is more user-friendly and easier to learn. And in my opinion, ProConnect is much easier to learn and better for people who are not, that's not 100% of what they do, right? On the other hand, if this is what all you do, you just want to do tax prep and you're ready to spend lots of time learning tax softwares, then Drake Tax has a lot of pros to that. So we talked about user experience and goals. We talked about friendly, right? Okay, next one is very complex tax returns. So when I say very complex, I think about very crazy, very complex, consolidated tax returns, corporations that sell their stock on exchange, things like that. So I think in that way, if you compare Drake and ProConnect, they're very similar. For me, I think ProConnect is just more intuitive in so many ways, and Drake might give you more things you can do with certain things, but I think they're also on the same level, so I would not consider that as my main reason. Fourth one is integration. So integration, what I mean, example would be integrating with the QuickBooks. So I think because ProConnect invented, or it's part of Intuit product, QuickBooks are, so integration from QuickBooks would be easier from ProConnect, although Drake Tax does offer that as well, right? So just thinking about that. So ProConnect connects well with all Intuit products in much easier way than probably Drake is, which it also does. It just thinking about that kind of stuff, integration is important. And last one, but not the less important of all of this, is tax planning. And I said this is a hot topic. It will be very important, start getting very important now. It will be extremely important in 5 years when AI will take over a lot of things. So I would consider that. From that perspective, ProConnect has amazing tax advisors already included in the fees, and I think Drake has the same. I haven't been using Drake Tax Advisor, but I have been using ProConnect Tax Advisor. It's been working really well for me. So I think from those points, both products does offer it. I'm not sure exactly which one is better is not, because I haven't used them as much, but that's just something to consider. So to summarize, if I was Thomas, if I was an extremely smart person, which I also am, but I would decide to do tax preparation as additional service, and I don't really want to spend too much time during tax season or before learning the tax software, I would rather just have a software kind of did it for me in some way, I probably would choose ProConnect. On the other hand, if you're a cat who is full-time tax preparer, and then you can be more flexible with that, because I'm okay spending lots of time figuring out tax software, because that's all I do, right? I mean, literally, I have courses on, like, online courses how to use tax software, so that's kind of what I do. So I am okay with that. So for me, and I know tax prep, I know what's the end goal, how it should look like. So for me, it really doesn't matter which software I use, although I do like both softwares for different reasons. So that was question about Thomas. Let's move to another question now. Another question I received from another subscriber, but I received it very long time ago, so I'm not going to mention that person's name because I'm sure he unsubscribed by now. But in any way, I hope he didn't. So please, if I ever don't receive answer from me in a month or two, please don't unsubscribe. I'm gonna get back to you at some point. And if it's urgent, please let me know. So anyways, the question was to compare CCH and Drake for partnership tax returns. And let me read that question to you right now. So the question was, hi Katrina, thank you for YouTube video reviews and different tax software. I was wondering if you have a strong preference between Drake and CCH Axcess. Based on his limited interaction with personnel at both companies, Drake seems a lot more responsive and eager to win my business. His business, CCH, seems a bit more laid back and not transparent with their prices. But CCH seems to provide cloud hosting as a part of their package, and based on your review, may be better for more complex returns. I have a small practice with a few complex partnership returns. Do you have a strong preference between Drake and CCH? If so, which would you recommend? All right, so let's go. So a very good question. Thank you so much for email. I appreciate a lot when I'm receiving those. So let's try to compare it based on my 5 criteria that I came up with. So first one will be user experience and goals. So user experience, he seems like he's been using tax softwares. Well, I don't know. I really don't know. Well, I assume he did a little bit, right? And the goal is preparing tax returns. And so, but in any case, I think somebody who wants to do a tax in part-time probably should never use CCH Axcess, because it's more comprehensive tax software. It's usually created like what I've seen people using it, and again, that can differ. But the majority of companies that use CCH Axcess, they're heavy on partnership tax returns. So many K1s, many partners. And Drake, I've seen people using it for a small to medium business, and CCH Axcess, a little bit bigger business. And when I talk about business, I mean CPA business. So smaller to medium uses Drake tax based on my experience, and bigger CPA companies using CCH Axcess because it has like additional functions that they need. So that's just general. So based on the question, I assume they're full-time tax preparer, want to do full-time taxes, because they asking as from a full-time tax preparer perspective. I think they don't mind learning curve. So in my opinion, learning curve for CCH and Drake tax is very similar. So by criteria number 1, user experience and goals, I think doesn't really matter. Both of tax software will be the same. The second one is how user-friendly it is. In my opinion, CCH Axcess a little bit more user-friendly than Drake's, but it's still very similar. So I would say it's quite the same, but still, in my opinion, CCH Axcess is a little bit easier to navigate. But that doesn't matter as much because the person is in tax preparation business, and if they are, that should be still okay. The third one would be very complex tax returns. So I think that will be the most important questions for them, because they mentioned partnerships in the questions. And when I say partnerships, I do like all my experience that I use CCH Axcess for is for partnerships and individual who receive K1s from those partnerships. In my opinion, it's easier to do like special allocations, things like that in CCH Axcess compared to Drake, although you probably would be able to do the same things in both. For partnerships, I don't think they have much limitation. It just seems to be easier to do it in CCH Axcess, and that's what I see other companies doing. So that's important. And then for integration would be the same. CCH Axcess or Drake, they're not, integration with other softwares would be very similar. And the fifth one was tax planning. So Drake has tax planner it included in the price for now, and CCH Axcess, you have to buy it separately, right? So if they're planning to do tax planning, if they will offer tax planning eventually, they should look into that as well. To provide the answer to that question from a tax preparer perspective, if this is all I do and I need to choose a tax software for myself that I'll be using all the time, that I'm willing to put time to learn, and I'll be preparing majority of partnership tax return. So my advice would be to probably go to CCH Axcess over Drake Tax, just because I've seen other companies doing that, like all the partnership companies who is doing partnership tax returns, they go with CCH Axcess. But it's not only because of that. It's just kind of like a proof of my point. And the reason why they do it, because there's so much flexibility with the special allocations, with different states for partnerships, and then preparing individual return with that, which is Drake's is a wonderful tax software. But I just seen, like, I think it's just wonderful for a little bit different things, and CCH Axcess is wonderful for partnerships. But I think also we cannot not consider price as part of this equation, as one of the main decisions, right? One of the main things what we base our decisions on. So yes, CCH Axcess is much more expensive. It's not obvious how much it costs until they give you the deal. So it's a little bit annoying. I hear you out. I don't like that model as much. So maybe I would consider choosing CCH Axcess if you can settle the good deal with a representative for next 2 years at least, right? So at least you know how much you will pay. If you cannot do that, if the price doesn't work, Drake's will be also wonderful, but I think CCH Axcess for partnerships is a little bit better. So yeah, so that's me. That's all for today. I'm answered 2 questions of those wonderful, intelligent people, and I just want to let you know that I love receiving emails from you guys. So please send me your questions on a tax software, on a tax preparation, or any personal questions you have, or if you're not sure if you want to move somewhere or not and you just want to ask somebody something, go ahead and ask me. I'll try to provide you some of my suggestions. I also will create this criteria to make a decision. So let's have fun with it. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and please subscribe to my channel, comment below, like this video. It's very important for me, and that's what keeps me going. Thank you so much.